Embrace the shadow.
What's good, YouTube? This is your Fire Fist King Kakarot here with some information on the new Indirect Fire Fist support coming in the next two sets, Extreme Force and Flames of Destruction. Now, two of these cards are going to be a little iffy. We will have to experiment with them a bit before we'll know anything about them working in the deck. One of them, however, though the effect probably won't be too good, it is a Link monster that'll at least do something for the deck for now in order to access your extra deck without having to go into Link 3 Decode Talker and blowing an extra monster for that. Now, as we know, the 60 card Fire Fist is a combo based deck, so you want combo cards that will help you continue your play, as well as being a deck that searches more than even Necros do to get said combo piece as fast as you can. The main problem with the deck at the moment is being able to simply keep up with the current spam decks like Magicians and Spirals, and the simple fact they don't have anything for Link monsters yet to use their extra deck cards. Some people say they don't need a Link monster simply because they don't summon enough to even use more than one extra deck monster. However, as we know, the 60 card build always has and always will summon a lot more than other Fire Fist builds, and so they use a lot of extra deck cards, especially in the early turns. As you've seen in some of my previous videos, the deck has a few ways for now of getting around the limit on the extra deck zone. However, most of the time, the extra card or effects you have to put in to get rid of the extra deck monster for another extra deck monster just isn't worth the cards you're giving up depending on the situation sometimes. And for this reason, they've needed at least a Link 2 monster they can use to really do much for their combos anymore. Unfortunately, this monster still won't do much for the deck other than being a Link 2. Hopefully Konami gives us more to use, but until then, this is all we got, so we might as well use it. Now, I think we've spent enough time just talking about this, so without further ado, let's look at the new cards. First card is a new spell card called Downbeat. This card is coming out in Extreme Forces next weekend. Unfortunately, the other two cards are looking to come out in the set after Flames of Destruction in a few months. It looks to be a reversal of Transmodify, which is one of, if not the main reason for the 60 card Fire Fist build to work and combo as well as it does. This card says tribute a face-up monster, special summon from your deck one monster with the same original type and attribute, but one level lower than the tributed monster's original level. You can only activate one downbeat per turn. Now, at first glance, this doesn't do much, but this might or might not work for the deck. It surely won't be as good as Transmodify, since you can't send the Raven to grave like you can with Transmodify, but there will be sometimes it might work better than Transmodify depending on the situation. If, say, you open up with a Spirit, or you want to make a Spirit play with your Tanky, you can tribute a level 4 for Leopard to get the Spirit play going. Another thing you can think of is you can also tribute your Horse Prince to get a Swallow from the deck. It won't be too often, but when it goes off, it would be really funny. You can also use it on a Swallow to get a level 4 Playmaker from the deck. So, it's probably not going to be a good opening card for the Fire Fist, but say turn 2 or 3, like mid-game point, it can have its uses just to get you going because you'll usually have like a level 4 or 5 at that point. Another thing to think about is you can use it on a Horse Prince to get a Swallow from the deck. Much as that's not going to be used often, it's still something to think about. It's going to take a lot of play testing to find out how to fit it in, or to see if it's even worth playing in the deck. But overall, it looks like it possibly can fit in the deck if you get the right ratios with the deck. Number 2 is Outroll of the Haunted Sea. This is a level 3 tuner Beast Warrior monster and water attribute. At first, from the water attribute, you think he couldn't possibly be good in the deck. However, his two effects actually make him sort of fit in well. When he's normal or special summoned, you can target a Beast Warrior in your graveyard. He copies the level and attribute of the targeted Beast Warrior. Now, this is sort of good on its own, if used in the right situation, as unlike both Fire Fist tuners, he's able to more easily make some other synchros with the level change. However, he has another effect saying that during your main phase you can special summon another Beast Warrior from your hand with the same attribute and level as him. Both effects are hard ones per turn, and both have the restriction of only summoning Beast Warrior monsters for the rest of this turn. Now, in a way, you're getting 3 normal summons off per turn with this effect, because you also have Tensu to think of. As well as he makes it easier to summon both your Horse Prince and your Kirin. This card as well will take some play testing to know for sure how it works, but I definitely think this has a higher chance of working than Downbeat for sure. And then that leads us to our third card for this video, the Link Monster Pint-Size Priest Hidaru. As I said earlier, he's a Link 2, so you can do more with the extra deck with him, as well as he's a Beast Warrior, so he works as a target for your fire formation. Now his first effect says he gains 100 attack per Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast on the board, on both sides of the board. And once per turn, he can target a spell or trap on both players' fields and destroy them both. That alone makes you think he can work with Fire Fist right there, considering you have the formations video. He's essentially another Gorilla, but from the extra deck. And then he has a third effect, though I don't think it's going to be that useful that often. When he destroys a monster with 1500 attack, you can return one of your Beast or Beast Warriors or Winged Beasts from your graveyard or banished to your hand. I mean, it's an okay recovery effect, especially the banished part. The problem is you have to run over a monster with his 1500 stats. Admittedly, of course, he gains attack and you have fire formations to boost him, but the problem is that really worth it over like a bear or gorilla search? Though other than that, it really doesn't do much other than just being another gorilla and occasional recovery card. It almost feels like a Link 2 Decode Talker, just in the sense that you summon it just to get the links that it gives you to continue on, not for the card itself. And it'll sometimes, of course, have those games where its back row destruction effect works out, but I just feel like there's too much hand traps at the moment, like no one's really playing back row cards at all. All you're really going to be able to hit is something like a Trickstar Field Spell or a Pendulum Scale or something. Like, there's just not really much you can hit with it at the moment because of all these hand traps left and right. Hopefully the hand trap format will change by the time this comes out in Flames of Destruction in a few months. I hope it does, though I kind of doubt it, as the only thing we have that affects hand traps by then that has been revealed so far is just Designator from the Grave, which even then doesn't stop him from just being the main source of counterplay to other cards. And then its secondary effect isn't too good on its own, as it has only the 1500 attack. Although, as I said before, you can just use your fire formations to gain the attack and then use your effect when you run something over with a Tencent or something. And keep in mind, you can also use Tencent on the opponent's turn and you'll get the effect of, like you do with Bear or Gorilla when they run into it and crash. But other than that, it's just a random Link 2 used for your extra decks with occasional recovery effect. And might have an occasional avoidance on a Solemn, though no one's really gonna let that go through with Solemn, of course, but that's really the only trap you see people playing nowadays other than Floodgates in the side deck or something. If it was during either player's turn to pop them, like a Tornado Dragon, it would be much different situation here. It would be an instant one of, maybe even a two of for any Fire Fist decks, or at least make it just pop cards instead of only popping back row. But unfortunately it doesn't, it's just another Gorilla with a graveyard recovery effect instead of a search when it destroys something in battle. Overall, it's just a Link 2 you're going to use just for the extra deck zones. So in the end, the deck's still going to be slow in comparison to the new decks, of course. We just need more support like they've been doing recently to the other decks. And that should be enough, hopefully. Until then, I'm going to be focusing on my Pendulum Magicians. I'll still be playing online with Fire Fist sometimes, especially just playtesting with the new cards. But until the day things either slow down or they get something else, I just can't see it taking on stuff like Spirals and Magicians. They just need more in order to keep up with them. So that's it for the video. Please like and subscribe, or dislike if you don't agree on the topic. And please comment down below what you guys think about these new cards and how they can fit into the Fire Fist decks. And I'll see you there in the comments section below.